Welcome to Jenney's first year Latin. We'll be covering lesson 25 on page 141. The demonstratives is, hic, and ille, as well as the ablative of time. Let's begin with a prayer. We're going to be learning, starting on learning the
quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimitimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. Domine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
So you guys should be keeping up with these grammar questions. I keep these slides on there so periodically you guys can go back and review your grammar. But because we are getting a lot of different ablatives now. I mean, we not only have the ablative of means, we have the ablative of complement, ablative of separation, all these different ones. But since we don't have that much time in class, I'm just going to skip to the things that I think we really do need to review. So let's kind of keep fresh the third declension adjectives. So let's go ahead and review these. So we're going to start with three terminations, as you remember, and an ER in the masculine, IS in the feminine, and E in the neuter. So let's go ahead and decline this. Remember, we go across. So Celer,
Celeris,
Celery,
Celeris,
All right, adjectives of two terminations. Remember, IS for both the masculine and feminine, and then E for the neuter. So brevis,
breve, brevis, brevis, breve, brevi, brevem, breve, brevi, brevi, breves, brevia, brevium, brevium, brevibus, brevibus, breves, brevia, brevibus, brevibus.
and then the adjectives of the third declension, which only have one termination. And these are all your third declension adjectives that do not end in ER or IS in the masculine nominative singular. So here we go. Audax, audax,
Audaci, 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 audacem, audax, audaci, audaci, audaces, audacia, audatio, audatium, audacibus, audacibus, audaces, audacia, audacibus, audacibus.
Excellent. Okay. I'm going to skip over doing the passive. Just remember the passive personal endings, or are, ris, tour, more, many, and tour, because I think you guys have a pretty good handle on these. What I do want to continue to review is the imperative mood, both the active and passive voice. So let's go over the active voice. So this would be over here, obviously, first conjugation, then sum is on its own, and then moneo, rego, so third io. So here we go. Voca, vocate, este,
monete, rege, regite, recape, capite.
Good. Okay. Now here's a pop quiz question for you guys. What is, does anybody remember, what is the imperative, present active, imperative singular for faccio? Remember, there was something weird about faccio.
Fach.
Yes, F-A-C. Fac. Okay, and what is the present active imperative singular for duco?
Duke.
Duke. Yes, exactly. So those are the two weird ones. I want us to keep those again fresh in our memory because you never know when you're going to run into those in a sentence. So you have to remember that unlike most of these that end in an E or an A, it chops right to the stem. So FAC for faccio is that present active imperative singular. Also DUC, Duke, for the present active imperative singular for Duco. All right, let's go the passive voice. Oops. So we have vocare, vocamini, monere,
Regere, regimini, capere, capimini.
Okay, good. I am not going to go over these with you guys. That's all stuff that you guys know. Oh, I do want to go over these. Okay, so remember, for third conjugation, how do we remember the present? We remember the present by the vowels O, I, U in this order. So let's go ahead and conjugate rego, all 6 tenses in the active voice. So ready?
Rego, regis, regit, regimus, regitis, regunt, regebam, regibas, regebat, regebamus, regebatis, regebant, regam, regis, reget, regemus, regetis, regent, rexi, rexisti, rexit, reximus, rexistis, rexerunt, rexera, rexeras, rexerat, rexeramus, rexeratus, rexerat, Rexero, Rexeris, Rexerit, Rexerimus, Rexeristis, Rexerunt.
All right. Now it's the same way for the passive. The only weird thing about the passive, usually you just have to switch out endings. The only weird thing, again, is right here, this E, right here. That's the only thing that you guys have to remember. Otherwise, if you look back to the active voice, all we're doing, what are we doing? We're just swapping out the endings, right? The only weird thing is you remember, normally it goes O, I, and then U here. So you just have to remember in this case, just add this in. There's an O, an E, and then an I. It goes back to I and U, okay? So, okay, so let's do this. So regor, regiris, regitor,
Regimor, regimini, regentor, regibar, regibaris, regibator, regibamer, regibamini, regibantor. Regar, regeris, regentor, regimor, regimini, regentor.
Okay, now there is, I want, you guys haven't noticed already, there are 2 forms that are similar. Well, I won't say they're similar, they're identical. Have you noticed that yet? In 2 different tenses. It's right here in the second person singular. Present and the future. Now, the way we can tell the difference from these, difference in these is one is accented and the other is not, okay? But otherwise, you're just going to have to tell from the context of the sentence because when you read some of the classical texts, you won't necessarily have the accents or the long marks to go by. Okay. Another way you can tell is this one right here in the future is long. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and insert that. Where are my special characters? Here it is. Okay, so this one is long, and over here, this one is not. Okay, but other than that, they're spelled exactly the same. But for now, the way you need to remember it is this one over here in the future has a long mark over it. Okay, so in case you haven't noticed that, I'm drawing your attention to it now, okay? All right, we're going to skip over reviewing the perfect system because this is very straightforward. It's very easy to remember, I think. Now, the third IO, again, part of the third conjugation, but It's in its own little group because it's got this I that's popping up, okay? So let's go through these. So capio, capis, capit, capimus, capitis, capiunt, capiebam, capiebas, capiebat, capiebamus, capiebatis, capiebant. And then capiam, capies, capiet, capiemus, capietis, capient, okay? And then the perfect system is totally normal. So really the only thing that we really need to focus on is this present system, okay? And then again, if we look, here again, it's the same way. So if you know this, look, again in the passive, because it's part of the third conjugation, that E pops up right there. Now, unlike the regular third conjugation, do we have that exact similarity going on between this one and this one over here?
No, there's an I in the future.
Exactly. So did you guys notice that?
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, if it's an IO, they're completely different. They're completely different. The I pops up in the future, but not in the present. Okay. So again, it's just something to, but again, if you look over here, it makes sense because look over here, the I is popping up over here in the future, but not here in the present. I mean, yes, the I is there, but you don't have two vowels is the point. It's just changing over completely. All right. Let's skip over to our Latin saying for this week. That Latin saying section. So in Proximo vinces. In this sign, you will conquer. So obviously, this is a familiar saying for us as Catholics and Christians. These were the words heard by Emperor Constantine, essentially the night before the Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312, where he saw the sign of the cross appear in the sky and the words, in this sign, you will conquer. Okay, so let's break it down. So in, obviously, is a preposition which, because it means in or on, is used with the ablative. And then we have hic, hic, hoc. This is, in this case, this is a demonstrative. Right, this, but it's obviously this sign, so it's an adjective, working as an adjective here. And then signum, e, neuter, this is a noun, it means sign. And then vinces, this is from vinco, vincere. This shouldn't be long. Why shouldn't this be long?
It's in the third conjugation.
That's right. Exactly. So it should be a short E. You will conquer. Okay. So let's look at this at the top of page 141. So demonstratives. In general, a demonstrative is something that points out a person or an object. So this girl, that cake, this Gatorade, that house. Okay. Now, if you'll notice, demonstratives can be either adjectives or pronouns. Obviously, if it's being used as an adjective, they have to follow the adjective agreement rule, right? So what's our adjective agreement rule?
They must agree
with noun,
person, number, and gender.
well, gender, number, and case, okay? Gender, number, and case. So, for example, is puer, that boy, obviously, because boy is masculine, we need the masculine form. Because boy is singular, we need the singular form. And boy is neuter, so I'm sorry, nominative. So again, we need the nominative. So you see how they agree in number, case, and gender. So the most common demonstrative adjectives are the ones that we're going to be learning this week, which is is, hic, and ele. So is means this or that, pick this and LA that. We're going to learn the difference between these in a little bit, because we're like, they all mean this, or they, we have two that mean this, and, two that mean that. We're going to kind of hash that out and how you can tell the difference and when to use each one in a little bit. Now, the other way demonstratives can be used are in pronouns. They're going to be used, you can tell the difference is if it's standalone, right? Because a pronoun takes the place of a noun. It's not modifying anything. So video, I see him. Okay? So that's the difference, obviously, between an adjective that modifies a noun and a pronoun, which is taking the place of a noun. It stands alone. They're used alone. Okay? Does everybody see the difference?
Yes.
Between how these are used?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to first do is, id, and you guys are going to recite. I'm going to try to keep up typing, but we're going to fill in this chart, okay? So you guys go ahead and I will have, I'll go ahead and have Ellie set the pace. So Ellie, if you would please lead.
All right. Is, id, use.
Guys, say it with her.
You gotta get these things done.
Yes.
A-E,
Ian, am, id, yo, yeah, yo.
Okay, I'm going to have you guys break while I catch up with there. Okay, so far what we've done is id, eos, eos, ae, aom, id, ao, ao. Are there any similarities to the way we've declined stuff so far? In other words, are there any similarities between first and second conjugation, third conjugation, any whatsoever? For example, have you guys seen this ending before? IUS. Okay.
That's third conjugation, fourth principal part, ISM.
Right. And then where have we seen this before in the neuter? Have we seen this before, the I before the neuter? I'm sorry, in the dative rather, the I in the dative?
Yes.
Yes.
Which conjugation, or rather, which declension?
Third.
Exactly. So far, we're like third. And then what is this? I should put aam here. This is hearkening back to what?
First.
Right, first and second, and first and second. Obviously, we follow the neuter rule here. See, it's neuter. And notice the nominative and the accusative well, they're identical, okay? So just try to, like, when you get a new noun to decline, try to see if you've got any similarities to how you've done things before. It'll help you file it and help you remember it better, okay? So now, Ellie, if you could lead us through the plural.
Eorum, eorum, eas, 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 eas.
Okay, now what do we notice about this part of the declension of it? Is it similar to anything we've done before?
The genitive plural is the same as first declension and second.
Yeah, so if you look at the endings, these endings for the plural, that's first and second declension. So this is, if you can remember, the plural is actually easy to remember because we've already learned it in first and second declension. Yeah, the singular is a little weird in spots because it's kind of a combo. But the cool thing is, guess what? it's all what you already know. Just put an E in front of it, right? Right? So any questions here on is id?
No.
No? Okay. Well, we are going to move on then to hic, okay? And this time I am going to have Alexis lead us, please. So,
Okay. Hick. Hake. Hayek.
well, hake, yep, hic, hake,
Hoke.
huyus,
Huyus.
huyus,
Hayu. Huyus. Okay.
it's huyus, huyus, huyus. I know it's a mouthful, but yes. And then huic,
Huick. Huick. Huick.
and then hunk,
Honk.
hunk,
Honk. And then hunk.
and then hoke, yep. And then
Hoke. Hack. Hoke.
yep, hoke, hock, hoke. Good. So again, let's analyze this and break it down. Any similarities? You still have the IUS popping up in the genitive. And then if you were to remove the C, what do we notice? There's that I popping up in the dative. And then hunk, hock, hoke. Again, hoke is neuter, so that's easy. It's mirroring the nominative. And then notice, if we were to chop off these C's, we have long O, long A, and again, a long O over here. Okay?
First and second declension.
Right. So it's kind of, you know, giving a hat tip to our first and second declension down here. So this through here, hat tip to the third, and then down here we have a little hat tip back to the first and second. Now let's go over to our plural. So Alexis, if you would please.
Okay. He. Hey. Hake.
Hake, yep. He, hey, hake, yep.
Horum. Harum. Horum. He's. House. Hoss. Hake.
Good.
And he's.
Okay, so good. So again, what's going on here in the plural? Well, with the exception of the neuter, nominative, and accusative, again, these are all our first and second declension endings. E, a, orum, arum, orum, is, os, os, and then normally over here in the neuter would be but is, right?
Yeah.
So again, yeah, so the only weird thing here is this weird neuter thing going on. But other than that, again, always look for your similarities. All right, and for this one, I'm going to have Ella do this one for Ile, Ella, Elud. So
Ilia.
well, Ile, Ella,
Ilud.
Elud. Yep.
Ilias. Ilium. Iliad. Ilio.
Well, don't add the extra. So just Ilo, Ilo. Okay. So now let's take a break there. Give me a chance to catch up. And again, are we spotting a pattern here between the this one and then the two previous ones that we've done?
Genitive singular is always the same.
Right. So it's following the same pattern as the last two that we did. We've got the IUS in the genitive, the I in the dative, and then again we're going back to first and second, pretty much right here in the accusative and the ablative. again, for the most part, right? All right, well, let's move on now to the plural. So,
Illy, Illiae,
LA,
Illa,
Illa,
Illorum, Illarum, Illorum, Elise, 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 Illos, Illas, Illa, Elise, Elise, Elise.
And again, what's going on here in the plural?
First and second declension
First
ending.
and second, okay? So now we've established our pattern for these guys, okay? Now, other than those memory tricks, there's absolutely nothing else I can give you to help you memorize them. You just have to say them over and over and over until you get them and you can rattle them off. Is, a, id, as, 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 a, e, a, e, a, id, a, o, a, I, o, a, e, a, eorum, all the way through. So just repeat them over and over again until you know them by heart, okay? Which again, it's just something that you have to memorize. Now, having said that, let's move on to the bottom of page 141. We've got 2 more ablatives to learn. So if you're keeping up with that section of your notebook, it's time to take some notes. Add another 2 uses for the ablative case. So ablative of time, when. They're obviously both ablative of times, but there's a difference. This one is time when. This one is time within which. How do we tell the difference? So ablative of time when is the time when an action occurs. So when an action occurs, it's expressed by the ablative without a preposition. So for example, tertia ora ex castris ex cesserunt. So they left camp at the 3rd hour. So when did they leave camp, everybody?
At the 3rd hour.
At the 3rd hour. Okay, so you see how why that falls under ablative of time when. When did they leave the camp? At the 3rd hour. Okay, so again, this is used in the ablative. It's placed in the ablative here without a preposition. Okay, so if you see anything to do with time, obviously ora, that's time, and tertia, 3 hour, 3rd hour, what? Oh, must be, and no preposition. There's my clue. That's time when. Now, let's look over any questions there before I move on to within which. No questions. All right, good. You guys are so smart. So ablative of time within which. Okay, obviously, if there is time within which an action occurs, it's expressed again by the ablative. And again, notice it's without a preposition. Okay, now how can you tell the difference? Well, let's look at a couple of examples. So this one, let's look at it in English. We shall sail to Africa within 3 years. Many towns were taken in 1 year. So notice within, in. So it's a time frame that you've established here. But if you look at it over here, look, rebus annus, uno anno. So again, the similarity between both of these are ablatives without prepositions. How are you going to be able to tell the difference? Which one is which? Well, the difference is you go to translate it over here. If we tried to translate this as time within which, what would we come up with? They left the camp
Within the
3rd hour, right? or yeah, is that
That doesn't really make sense.
no. And if you even said in the third hour, you're still hearkening back to time when. When did they leave? In the third hour. So it's not about that, but within the third hour, that doesn't make sense, right? And again, back over here, let's try translating one of these as time when. So if we said, we shall sail to Africa at 3 years.
Wouldn't work.
Right. At 3 years. Okay, the understanding there is, we naturally understand, oh, yeah, within 3 years. That's the time within which we're going to sail. Okay? You guys see how when you go to do it, it kind of flows naturally, right? That's just the way we speak. Like if we saw that, we go, well, it's a time, and it's in the ablative. It's either going to be time when or time within which, and naturally you're going to go, yep. Even if you were to say take out within 3 years, in 3 years' time, it's still it's still more of the idea of within 3 years. You guys do that?
Yeah.
So again,
Yes.
it's, as a translator, again, it's one of those things. You're still getting it in the ablative. It's still that ablative of time. Okay. So as long as you express it in the English using within, in, or at, and it makes sense. Okay, I just showed you how it wouldn't make sense to translate this as within which. Then you're going to be just fine, right? Okay, because if you guys did this in 3 years, I would not mark you wrong because you've expressed it in the ablative, and obviously I can tell that it's ablative of time. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Do you guys have it?
Yes.
Yes.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's look over the vocabulary. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to label everything. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to have Andrew, since I haven't called on him in a while, do these first three.
Equus, equitus, masculine. Horseman, knight. In the plural, it's cavalry.
Not Calvary. Okay, now this is important. A lot of people do this. Calvary is the hill that where our Lord died. It's spelled Calvary. Okay, that's the hill where our Lord died. But cavalry are horsemen. Okay. So
Pedes, pedetes, foot soldier, infantry.
okay.
Ex, yeah, id, this, that, he, she, it.
Okay, good. Now, what is everyone equus, equites?
Cavalry.
Well, right, but what declension? Remember, we're labeling now.
Third.
Okay, it is third. Now, I'm going to ask you a pop question. Is it an I stem?
No.
No.
No, it is not an I stem. Okay. Now let's look at pedes, pedetis. Anyone? What declension?
Third.
It is third. And of course, this one is a demonstrative. I'm going to put, well, a demon. Well, you guys know what I mean by demonstrative there. But demonstrative, okay, which we just learned this unit. Okay, so Madeline, I haven't called on you. I would like you to do these next three. Oops.
Take, hawk, this, the latter, delay, elude, that, the former, bibbo, bibere, bibby, nothing, to drink,
Right, good. Okay. So again, both of these are demonstratives. So, and now, what conjugation is bibo vivere?
Third.
Yes, that's exactly right. This is third conjugation. Okay. I'm going to select all these because, well, it's getting too big. It's going to go right off my slide if I don't. So we're going to make this smaller. Okay. All right. Now, Ellie, back to you. I'm going to have you do these two, please.
Curl, curry, curry, cursum, Shubon, Dico, Dicere, Dixie, Dicotum,
Dictum.
Say, tell.
Good. And what conjugation, everybody?
Third.
Third.
Third. Yep, they're both third. All right. And Alexis, these next two?
Edo, idere, idi, isum, to eat, pito, pitere, pitivi, petitum, seek, beg, ask, attacked, attack, amen.
Okay, good. And what conjugation is both of these?
Third,
They're both third. That's right. That's short E-R-E. And Ella, these last two, please.
Scribo. Scribere. Scribsi. Scriptum. Right. Olim. Adverb formally. Once upon a time. Someday.
Yep. So when you see olim in your story, hint, hint, hint for your translation, it's going to be once upon a time. Okay. All right. And what is our conjugation here for scribo?
Third.
Third.
So what we noticed, all the verbs in this unit are all third conjugations, and both of our nouns are third declension. Okay. Okay. So good. We've gone over those. Let's look at our word study now at the bottom of 142, top of 143. Let's look at eques, knight. So the word for horseman or cavalryman may also designate a knight, a member of a wealthy business class among the Romans. So in primitive times, this title had been given to a man wealthy enough to be able to provide himself with a horse for battle. Okay, that's a big deal, owning a horse. That was a sign if you were wealthy enough to own a horse for battle, you know, then you were considered a knight. But by the classical period, knights had little connection with horses, okay? Now, let's look at is, hic, and ille. Okay, so these demonstrative adjectives, hic and ille, point out the position of words they modify that are present or near the speaker. I'm going to underline that, okay? So if it's present or near the speaker, you're going to use hic. If it is absent or remote from the speaker, you're going to use ille, okay? So more remote. Now, what do we mean by that, okay? So we're going to go down here. Look, hoc, this. Okay, so hoc oppidum magnum. This town, in other words, this one right here close to me is large. But illud, notice, ille, form of ille, illud parvum est. That town, you know, in other words, that one over there, farther away, more remote, is small. Okay? So again, if it's closer to you, the this you're going to use hic for this, meaning close. If it's farther away, you're going to use that. Okay? Ille. Now, let's look at hic and ille. May be used to mean that or the former, respectively. So in other words, the latter and the former, okay? Do you guys know the difference between the latter and the former?
Yes.
no.
No? All right.
No.
So we're going to give an example of this. Haha. Miss Ellie, can you give me an example of that in the former? So we're going to need a sentence. So I'm going to use Ellie as an example. So Ellie, for some reason I can't spell your name. Did I spell it 2 L's?
Yes.
Ellie, and let's use somebody else. I'm going to use Madeline. Went to Holy Trinity for clubs. The former went to, where can we say you went? We went to Legion of Mary, while the latter went to a choir. There we go. Okay, so who am I talking about when I mean the former here?
Ellie?
Yes, see, so we're going to highlight both of these in the same color. No, the former of the two. So they're comparing, when comparing these two, the former, in other words, the one that's farther away, the former. So the former here. Let's highlight it, and let's do Ellie in a lovely rose shade here for former. Highlight. Okay, and now, so that's our former, and so who would be the latter?
Madeline?
That would be Madeline, because she's the later of the two, and we're going to put Madeline in a nice purple here. Okay, so now we see what we mean. Does everybody see what we mean by former and latter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you guys for being wonderful examples in my sentence, Ellie and Madeline. I always love volunteers, even when they don't volunteer. That's great. All right. Now, let's look at is. It does not, the thing with is it does not suggest a specific location. It merely indicates that the noun it modifies has already been mentioned or it's going to be defined. In other words, we're going to explain it. That's what we mean by defined. We're going to explain what this is. All right, so here's an example of this. So hoc oppidum magnum. This town here, okay, we already did that. Okay, here we go, down here with id. Oppidum gallorum vidi, id oppidum parvum erat. So I saw a town of Gauls. This, or you could use that town was small. So you see how it doesn't necessarily tell you the location, whether it's near or far. It's just referring back to this town that we've already mentioned, and it's explaining that it was small. See, it's part of this explanation. So I saw a town of Gauls. This or that town was small. Okay, so it doesn't tell you, again, it doesn't tell you. And that's why about the relative nearness of the town. It's just meant to serve as an explanatory term, which is why you can translate it as either this or that. Okay, does everybody get that? So it is kind of, it's not as specific as hic and ille.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
Good. And now remember we studied at the beginning that Duke and Fox, they lack that final E in the present active imperative singular. Here's another little memory note to take down in your notebook. Guess what? Deco, it's just like them. It joins the club. Okay? So the present active imperative singular of deco is deek. Everything else about it is normal, just like with duco and faccio, but that present imperative singular is weird and it's just D-I-C, okay? All right, let's translate some sentences. Okay, first up is Ella.
Farmer's daughter
So yes, the farmer's daughter. So remember, I wrote this down. Well, no, I didn't write it. Okay, let me write it up here. Remember, how do we speak in English? We do subject. We do verb. We usually do either I, O, E, O, right?
Mhm.
That's usually our order in English. So the farmer's daughter, we have our subject. Now we need our verb. You remember this one?
Put
Very good. So put, or you could
for
do place.
dinner
Yep, the dinner.
on the table towards the window.
Toward or near the window. Excellent. All right. Okay, I am going to have, I'm going to do Alexis here.
Okay, the small animal
We have our subject. Now grab your verb.
was in the forest.
Oh, but
Oh, Fuji. Um,
does everybody remember the game show where you can phone a friend? You guys remember that game show?
No.
Billionaire or something.
Yep. That's right. Or you can poll the crowd. You can use one of your lifelines. Call a friend, or we can you can ask the expert. All right, Alexis, we're playing the game. Would you like to use one of your lifelines here for Fujio? You know it.
yes.
Okay, which one do you want? You want to poll the crowd?
Sure.
Let's poll the crowd. Anybody know what Fujio means?
To flee. Flee from.
Or fly. Very good. You was fleeing. Okay, we're still alive.
From the horseman.
We're fleeing. Yep, the horsemen or the cavalry. Where?
In the forest.
In the forest. So what construction is in Silva?
The ablative of place where.
Awesome. Spot on. Nice way to spot that construction. Good job. All right. Now I'm going to throw the ball over to Ellie.
All right. We shall defend our native land
Country.
with great boldness.
Awesome. And what is that construction there, Ellie?
Ablative of means.
With great bold. Well, means is usually of things.
Oh, I meant manner.
Awesome. That's exactly right. Well, they both begin with an M.
Yeah, they both start with
So, all right, Madeline, number 4. And so here you get to deal with the forms of is, ea, id, okay?
That's in the dative. So.
Well, it could be in the dative or it could be in the nominative plural. See that? That masculine Nominative plural over there. So,
Those horses.
yep, those horses. Brabant.
Were running
Good.
out of the field into the road with great speed.
Awesome. So again, what is the construction ex agro?
Ablative of place from which
That's right, place from which. And what about in viam?
accusative of place to which
Good. And then you have one final construction, the last one.
ablative of manner.
Very good. So you had 3 different constructions going on in that sentence. All right, Andrew, next one.
The 5 spirits.
Well, the 5 spirits.
Spirits are animals.
Well, that would be animalis, but this is anis. So I give you a hint. It has to do with our this is an example of our newly learned construction. It's a form, one of the forms of ablative of time.
Time when.
Right. It could be, yeah, it's either time when or time within which. Okay. So we're going to mark that. Let's mark that. This is an ablative of time going on here. So that's not our subject. Okay. Have you spotted your subject based on, here's your verb.
Rex, bonus, LA.
Right.
The former good king will have liberated the miserable servants.
Liberated or freed. Slaves, servants.
Within 5 years.
Now, what have we noticed also about this is ablative of time?
Time within which.
Right. So what do we notice about that? It's being usually used with some form of future. I mean, obviously they've used it with the future. They've also used it with the passive, but yeah.
It's usually future perfect and future.
It's future perfect, future, or passive. Okay. But it makes sense here to translate it within which. So good job. All right. I'm going to skip over doing these sentences. I'm going to let you guys do that on your own because I wanted to kind of go over the translation a little bit with you guys. You guys are doing a good job. Remember, I wanted to draw your attention to that glossary, remind you that it's back there to reference when you don't know a word. I tried to outline some of the words that were not there. Okay, so let's look over. Obviously, we have a vocabulary word there. Olim, what does olim remember mean, everyone, again?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. That's right. That's what we're going to be doing there. Now, everything is pretty similar. Do you guys see, we go through the first sentence in Phrygia. Remember, inter facio, that means to make a journey. The journey was made, right? And then we have the third sentence, non dei videbantur. Now, there's a note there. Videbantur does not mean was, it's not the usual meaning
See.
of video, meaning to see. Notice they made a note for you there. It means seemed here. Okay, that's how they want you to translate it. Okay, and then nox erat, ad erat. Does everybody remember our friend ad erat? Does everybody see where I'm looking right there?
Yes.
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 Okay, let's go ahead and make a note of what ad erat. How would we translate ad erat in this sentence? Okay, does anybody have an idea of how we would translate ad erat? This is where I'm going to have you guys look up this. Where does ad erat come from? Anyone? Let's look it up back there in the back of the book. Let's start on page 471. Obviously, we're going to do odd, and then we know that erat is a form of what word, you guys?
Some.
Okay, so obviously this is a form of, and I'm going to put this on some, walk you through how to do a verb back there. So we see, has everybody found odd sum back there?
Yes.
Okay. Notice, what do we notice about odd sum? It's a prefixed form of sum,
Yes.
right? So if we were to just remove odd here, erat, how would you translate erat? What tense is that?
Was being.
Well,
That's
was.
it's imperfect.
Imperfect. So this is the imperfect. This is the imperfect. So we know that odd sum means be near or be present. So put that in the imperfect.
Was being near.
Yep.
Was near.
Or you say was being near. You could say used to be near. Remember, those are the two ways to translate the imperfect. Or used to be present. You know, however you decide sounds best to translate that. Okay. So now that we've made that note, let's keep going. I think, again, be careful when you guys go through. Remember your passives, okay? Don't just automatically. So, for example, in the next sentence, you see defessi errant. Don't just go and go, aha, errant, imperfect ipsum, okay? Just because there's a break there doesn't mean that you have to make sure to grab your whole verb. And obviously the whole verb is what? Defessi errant. That's the whole verb, okay? Now, we're going to move on to the next sentence because this one is a long one and I want to translate this one together. So and I've typed it here. So how would we translate this? So I'm going to translate it by doing this for you guys. All right, we're looking at this, right? This one was kind of a little weird. So, but I think we can get it. So how are we doing this? So look at this. We have this whole clause ends with a verb. So we're going to translate this first, and then we're going to take this and we're going to translate that. Okay. So where's our subject for this?
Chibum.
But if you look over here in the note, that would be chibus e masculine food.
Oh.
Okay, so it can't be the subject.
It's contained in the verb.
Yeah.
Yes. So
They.
let's translate our verb.
They.
And it's imperfect. Were.
I don't remember this.
Well, the way to remember peto is at Mass, we have our petitions. What are we doing when we're putting forth
Prayers.
our petitions? We're asking, right? We're asking God for our spiritual needs, spiritual and physical needs. So they were asking,
For food and wine.
yes, well, not water,
Wine.
yep, vinum. So the vine, the wine, you know? So food and wine, ab multis. Anybody remember what ab means? AB? Madeline?
Away. By.
Or from multis.
Many.
Yeah. From the many. Obviously, this is a adjective. It's standing alone, so we have an adjective standing in the place of a noun. So from many, obviously, many people. Right? Okay, now what does said mean, Ella? But, okay, and Alexis, where is, do we have a subject here in omnis, this last one?
This subject is included in the verb errant.
Well,
They?
it could be, but could omnes also be the subject? So omnes could be the direct object. I see where you're going with that. Or it could be the subject or the direct object. So let's see which makes sense. So we could do they were unfriendly to all, or all were unfriendly. Which makes more sense?
All were unfriendly?
Well, right. Yeah, so they're asking for food. So obviously what's going on here is this is the people's response to me, but all of the people were unfriendly. Okay? So yay, we have that part translated. Okay, now let's do this one. Omnes bonos felices faciam. Okay, where is our subject?
Omnes.
It could be. Let's go over to your verb and let's see if Miss Ella is correct. Can anybody spot the verb here?
Faciam.
Faciam. Okay, so if faciam is your verb, does it match up with omnes?
No.
No. Okay. Well, because why? Faciam is
Faciam is singular. And
right.
omnes, plural.
Right. So they don't match up. So what is our subject? Anyone? Subject here?
It's included in the verb.
It's included in the verb. So what is our subject? How would we translate faciam? Anyone?
I will.
Faciam, make. Okay. Now we need all.
Good.
And we're going to add people here. This, because again, it's one of those, all the good people.
Happy.
Happy. There you go. And now we have taken two of those sentences off. Now, no one should get those wrong. Just copy and paste them from here, okay? Those are the ones that I thought might give a little bit of trouble. But now we've worked through them together in class, and you guys should be good to go. Okay, but again, if you have questions on this translation saying, Mrs. Clark, I think these two go together, but I'm not sure. This is what I'm thinking. Shoot me an email and I'll give you some pointers. Okay?
Okay.
All right, lesson 25 quiz. So again, the vocabulary right there on page 142. We're going to do have some sentences from Latin to English, English to Latin, just like your homework. Obviously, the grammar questions will be on your study guide. So I'm probably thinking some questions on ablative of time. You might be seeing that. Your Latin saying, be able to decline hic, hoc, is id, and ille, illa, illud. Obviously, it's 1 point per word. So each of these is, let's see. So the declension of hic, hoc would be 30 points. Here's another 30 points for is, id, and another 30 points for ille, illa, illud. So 30, 60, 90. 90 points on your test right there. Easy points if you've memorized it, okay? And then, of course, there will be a study guide and sample questions on there. And then be sure to email me your translation of our wonderful little Greek myth here, Bacchus and Philemon, which I don't know if you guys remember them.
Bacchus is the Greek god of wine.
Right. So we're going to see what happens with Bacchus and Philemon. Remember, I had a couple questions on our tests in the past. But anyway, when you do submit it, just be sure to double space it. It makes it easier for me to put little comments in the margins and kind of guide your translations. Okay. All right. Any questions at this time? No? All right. Well, you guys are doing fantastically. If you think of anything, email me during the week. Otherwise, I will see you next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Thank you.